It's showtime, baby. Let's go. Woo! Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Turnipple, and as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. Home! Midwest best, baby. They got Uno wings. They got G-Funk. They got CTB wings. They got delicious chili. Dude, it is awesome. Go check out Midwest Best. Exactly. Go check out Midwest Best. They are a proud sponsor with me. I appreciate them. Go check them out there. They have delicious wings. Like I said, I always talk about the wings, CTB wings, the Uno wings, the G-Funk. They're all amazing. Go check them out. And like on the third Saturday of the month, go get the ribs. They are delicious. What's up to everybody? I am live streaming. This is Sports Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button. Hit the bell for notification. I am live streaming on ZTV, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Rumble. And as always, I'm coming to you live from this glorious place down here. It's the Ice Cave. The Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And you know it, we hit the jackpot when we drafted Joe Burrow. Make sure you're geared up for our Super Bowl run next year. Get the hats, get the hoodies, all at jackpotjoey9.com. Remember, portions of proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund and the Joe Burrow Foundation. And welcome to a new sponsor, which I don't have the picture for them yet. My apologies. I will get that on it. But Meyer Door Windows, go check them out. I use them for my own personal house. I got them 2 years ago. Put all new windows in our house, and they are amazing. Go check them out. They'll be down at the Home and Garden show this weekend. So make sure if you need new windows, doors, anything like that, check out Meyer Door and Windows. What's up to everybody in the chat? We got, it's blowing up right now. I think because Bruce is still talking. Everybody's over there watching Bruce. We got Stranger in there. We got Brad in there. And we got a whole 8 people watching. So I appreciate all you guys who are watching. Anyway, so it's February 22nd, 2024. Tee Higgins has not been tagged yet. When it happens, it's not going to happen until like the last possible day. But we got a lot to discuss about the Bengals. We got a lot to discuss about UC. UC is driving me freaking nuts because it's the end of February. We are toward the end of conference play. We're getting towards March Madness. And we're doing the same stuff we did in January. We're turning the ball over. We're not making defensive stops. We're missing easy shots. We're missing our free throws, which UC's never been a great free throw shooting team anyway. Those things, and I love Wes Miller, but to me, is that coaching? Because they're doing the same stuff. I understand the Big 12 is a very, very difficult conference. It's the toughest conference in the country. But you had a chance to win every single game in the Big 12. You should have won most of them. And you haven't improved. You keep doing the same stuff. And why, for the love of God, when Jizzle James started taking over, I understand defense, all that stuff, I get it. But why did you take him out and then leave him out till like the last 2 minutes of the game? Put Day in. Put Jizzle in there. Put your two guys that are your two best at handling the ball and hopefully getting you in the right position to make the shots, to take the win. Why did you ice Jizzle James? Because you literally iced him. He was hot. He was making good plays. Yes, defensively, he made some mistakes. He's a freshman. I'll take that because you keep putting Day in there, and nothing gets Day, but we keep doing the same thing, and we're not winning, and we keep losing by 4 points, 5 points, 8 points. It drives me nuts. Anyway, he's sitting in the car waiting patiently for me to get to stop rambling. He is my boy. He's supposed to be on yesterday. Couldn't work it out. He's on today. He is game on. Hey, come on, hit the button. What up, G Money?
What's going on? Let's go. Back in the car, round 2.
Round 2. I don't want you anywhere else. I always want you in the car. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now,
I can think freely. I don't have to think about screaming children. You know, my wife's what her expectations are, any of that stuff, right? Solely focus on sports.
Exactly. Let's talk some Bearcats here, and then we'll get into Bengals too as well, because we had some thoughts. Me and Game On were already getting into before the show started. Like, let's wait till the show starts. But let's start Bearcats here real quick. Now, Brad here says we should have only had 2 losses in the conference play the way we have played. I can't disagree with that. And the thing, like I said, I was telling you, and I said at the beginning of the monologue here, what's driving me nuts is we're not improving, you know, and that's the part where it's like, yeah, it's the hardest competition they've ever played against, but you got to start getting better. You got to start. Okay, well this is what the reason we're losing, and you still keep doing the same thing. That's the part that's where I'm like, is it coaching? Is Wes not coaching them up enough, or are they just not listening? I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts, Game On?
I think first and foremost, Wes is a player's coach, and that can be a detriment because from what I've seen, the things that I've seen over his tenure at UC, which I think we're in his 3rd year, correct?
Yep. Third
so, year. Up to his 3rd year, we've had rotation issues. We've had issues offensively with setting up guys or, guys actually taking the ball and doing something with it, meaning, being able to run the offense efficiently, finding the right score, or the guy who's supposed to be the guy that we have signed as the guy, at the beginning of the season, just not being that guy, right? And then other people having to fill in. And then obviously defensively. We're looking at inconsistencies in at the rim defense. We're looking at inconsistencies on perimeter defending, on switching ability, all of these different things, and wide open 3-pointers. So I think the one thing that I think about when I think about Wes's tenure here at UC is inconsistency, first and foremost. It's just been so inconsistent of a team, no matter what year you look at, right? And I think we can also take away from this is Wes needs to get better in terms of how he manages these guys. There's a lot of questions as to why Ravion is not on the court. And we could really use some scoring right now, couldn't we? Especially at the 3-point position. What were we, 25% last night from 3?
But at this point, he better redshirt. They better not lose.
He's got a redshirt.
He's got to now.
He's got a redshirt.
Yeah, at this point, it's over. Go ahead.
But I think Wes trusting in these junior college transfers, trusting in these guys that are seniors that have transferred over, that have been in the system maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years, has kind of been a detriment to this team because you and I both feel like Jizzle is a much better scorer. He can be that guy at the end of games. He should have been in with 2 minutes to go. He should have been the guy with the ball in his hands to be able to make a decision at the end of that game.
Especially the run he was on when he took him out. It looks like he was starting to take the game over. And that's what we don't have. We don't have, like back in the day, we'd have Steve Logan, or we'd have Lizelle Durden, or we'd have Kenyon Martin, or we'd have these guys that, all right, I can give him the ball, and I know he's going to either make the right decision, or right pass, or he's going to score. Right. That's what Jizzle looked like he was starting to do, and Wes benched him, and he iced him, and he didn't bring him back till the last 2 minutes. And the argument is, well, he trusts Day Mar. Fine, put them both in at the same time.
Yeah. The other thing too we have to consider, and I said this before we got on, is some of these transfers, they're coming from programs that are less than Big 12 competition. And we're trying to tell them to be high-level Big 12 players, right? Mm-hmm. And while that makes us competitive, it doesn't push us over the top. So we're still in this kind of phase that we were last year, where we're almost a tournament team, but we're not quite there. And you're just seeing the same inconsistencies that we saw at the beginning of the season. Well,
that goes to my point. That's where I'm like, why are we not getting better? And I don't want to hear talent. We got talent. And I understand what you're saying. These guys played at the AAC and lower levels, but we've been in this competition of the Big 12 since January.
Yeah.
And they've been in every freaking game.
Yes.
And I get all that. That's where I'm like, you've got to start getting better. You got to quit. Somehow stop doing the same stuff. Whatever you're doing is consistent. And you said West is inconsistent. Well, they've been very consistent this year. They're in every single game. They start off terrible. They come back. They get the lead. And then the other team takes the lead. And UC's fighting like scratch and claw to try to get back in it with the last 2 minutes. And they do. But then they lose it. And so they're consistent in losing the exact same way. That's the part that is I'm like, that's the part that I don't understand why it's not getting any better. Because, I mean, I've seen college guys go improve, throughout the year. I think Jizzle James has improved. I do. I think Skillings has improved. I think these guys, those two, have gotten better. I do. I hate this guy. I like Vic, but I'm okay that Wes hasn't played in the last 2 games because he was shrinking in this pressure of playing in the Big 12. He's become softer, He's
Chris Boat. He's Chris Boat, man. He had a great spurt where he was just playing at an elite level, and then all of a sudden it all came crashing down, and now he's trying to find himself and just can't. Just can't make
that's a great comparison because I remember the last 2 games he played. I'm like, why are you standing at the 3-point line? Then he'd shoot it. I'm like, don't shoot it. Oh my God. But I mean, so there are guys that have improved, but it's like Wes keeps going with, and I'm not. It's not shading his Day. Day's made a shot to win a game before. He's played good. You got to have. It's more of Jizzle. Why isn't Jizzle in there? Skillings has been in there. Why isn't Jizzle in there at the end? I mean, Lukosius has got the balls to take the shots. He does, and I give him credit for it. But he doesn't make them,
Yeah.
And that's the thing and they're good shots that he's taking. They're not going in. I'm like, try something different at the end of the game. Try Jizzle. I'm not saying Jizzle's going to fix everything, but why the hell not? And I mean, he did put him in, like I said, last 2 minutes, but he sat for 7 minutes, something like that.
Right. Yeah, Lukosius has kind of wanted to be the guy, right? And he's had a couple winners. He's had a couple winners this year. But, I mean, ultimately, he cannot be, like, he's proven that he can't consistently make those shots at the end of games. And they've got to have another guy that can step up. And conceivably, Jizzle, I mean, you talked about it before, 15 minutes last night, 15 points? I mean, that's a guy that's a walking bucket. You put him in at the end of games at the very least, right? If you don't trust his defense, you put him in at the end of the game. Like that 3-point opportunity where I think it was Day that ended up taking the top of the court 3 with less than a minute to go that ended up rimming out. And then Newman ended up getting it in. Like that's got to be Jizzle's shot, right? That's got to be Jizzle's shot. Draw up a play for Jizzle James. Allow him to take that shot. Completely agree. And that's something, like I said, situationally, Wes has to get better at. Now, having said all this, I think the average UC fan is going to compare Wes Miller-led team to how Mick Cronin progressed in his time and his beginning. It
took forever for Mick to get going.
But Cronin, I think after year 3, we were a tournament team every single year for 9 years straight? 9 years straight?
I think it might have been 4. But anyway, I got you.
No, it had to have been more than that because we were like 7 in a row. Like we were tied with Michigan State.
Was it? I don't remember.
It could have been 7.
Honestly, 8. I don't remember. Yeah, but you're right. Your point is, yes, we were consistently a tournament team. I do agree with that.
Point is, next year's the year, man. If next year they are not a tournament team, that's when the Bearcats need to sit down and have a serious conversation as to whether Wes Miller needs to lead this team moving forward. Because if these inconsistencies that we're talking about still exist even in the next season, and now we're talking about a full team established by Wes, there's no longer any Mick guys around. Locken will be a senior next year.
I think Lockett might be gone. I think Lockett's transferred somewhere else, to be honest.
He should be able to come up with a successful team that gets into the tournament. 9.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah, 9. 9.
12 seasons for Mick, 3 of them not in tourney, 9 of them in tourney.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And 9 of them were I think we made it to the Sweet 16 once. Because mixed teams could play defense and rebound the ball, but they couldn't make shots to save their freaking life.
Couldn't make shots.
The one team the best chance we had was what was that, 2015, 2016 against Nevada?
Gary Clark.
Yeah, dude, that game, I still remember this. I was at a bar with my dad watching the game, and the game was over, and I was still watching. We were up by like, I don't know, 17, 12 points, something like that. 25, that's right. We're about 25 points. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game still, but we're talking about, okay, all right, who we play here and all this. Moving on to, I think we're going to win this. Also, look at going,
yeah.
Holy shit, they're about to tie the game. I'm like, what the hell happened? And it's like,
the Martin twins. Remember that? The Martin twins. But the big deal in that game was Cumberland gets the 4th foul. Yep. And Mick wants to take him out. And Mick trusts Cumberland because Cumberland comes over and he said, I got it. And then a couple minutes later, boom, fouled out.
Yep.
And no plays drawn for Gary Clark in the last 11 minutes of that game.
Nope.
Disgraceful. Nope. He was your best rebounder, your best scorer outside of Cumberland on that roster.
Oh, yeah. He's the best guy on the block we had that year. I mean, Washington was actually pretty good. Washington, I always remember him. I don't know how the hell his shot ever went up. He was like shot put it. Yeah. I was like, how does that go in? But it would go in. But I mean, yeah, that was Mick's best team. And I think that's the team if I'm not mistaken, we took he took that team to the Big East final, the tournament final, and lost to Louisville. If I'm not mistaken,
yes.
I think that's it.
I think that's
anyway,
the year.
But getting back to this year's team, I do agree with you that next year they got to make and it's not over yet. I mean, if they go and they beat Houston and they make some noise in the Big 12 tournament, they still could get in. I mean, I think Lombardi's got them at the first 4 out now. I mean, it's the bubble's almost burst, but they got to win these games and they got to make noise in the tournament, and that's where it's like, good.
The bubble has burst for me, but I agree with you. And again, as I said before, the Bearcats play up and down to their competition. So I do think the Bearcats will be incredibly competitive in that Houston game. If they come away with a couple wins, then, and their quad 1 wins, then definitely I think, that will push them into the conversation, at least onto the bubble conversation. I don't think they're on the bubble right now. I think they're off the bubble.
No, they're out. They're out right now. Yeah, I agree with you.
Comfortably off the bubble right now.
Yeah,
but
they got to get some wins.
You beat Kansas. You beat Kansas State, these other teams. Yeah. And then you go into the tournament. You win 2 of those games in the Big 12 tournament. I think then we could talk. We could start talking about
that's what's so good about being in the Big 12. Yeah, we're out right now, but you win a couple of these things. Like they're all quad 1 wins. I mean, everything. By the way, Kyle said, "What's up? Game on." This guy cooks on Spaces.
Let's go, Kyle. Appreciate you, brother.
What's up, Darth? Paul is there. Darth. Oh, I thought I saw Darth. Nope.
Good day, Paul.
Marshall, what's going on? People are starting to show up now. What's up, Crip? What's going on?
What's up,
all right,
gentlemen?
All right, so I was talking to my dad about this earlier today. This basketball team is more frustrating than the football team was. The football team, once we got to the point where we started losing, we weren't even in the games. That's the part that it's like, all right, well, I didn't. I got to the end, I'm like, all right, well, we're not going to win. I got to the middle way of the season. All right, we're not going to the bowl game. We're not going to, not going to win most of these games. This one is just like, dude, we're right freaking there in all these damn games. That's where I'm like, I was still like, there's still hope. I like right now, they're out. They're not in. They're NIT bound, and if they are NIT bound, they better win the damn thing. If they do go to the NIT, they better win the thing, or at least don't go to South Dakota State or North Dakota State or wherever the hell they went to last year and lose.
Utah Valley
You can't
State.
Do that. Utah Valley, that's
Utah
the way. Utah Valley, you can't do that. And I was pissed we did that last year. I'm like, seriously? I'm like, we lost to who in the NIT? I'm like, you can't do that. So that's another thing for me is if they are NIT bound, that's where they play. They better win this thing, at least make it to the Final Four or something, because that at least shows improvement. They can't, and that's just like that's where I get irritated because it's just, and I keep saying this, but it's the same stuff. It's like, why can't we improve upon that? That's the part I don't get.
Yeah, 100%. I think if the Bearcats, go to the NIT, they accept that bid, I think they should be at least in the semifinals of the NIT. Again,
At
man,
least.
this team, it kills me because at the beginning of the season, I was like, just watching the games. Right after the Xavier game, you were like, oh, it's going to be one of those.
I was gonna say, I thought it was gonna be bad.
we're not going to be good this year. And then after that, like the Bearcats kind of turned on the shooting again. They go to BYU, they beat BYU, and you're like, holy shit, like this team might do something. Then they come back home, they have the win against TCU, and you're like, hang on, now we got 2 quad 1 wins. What are we doing here? This team might be cooking. And then, it's been a really roller coaster season. And what I like to see from this year, it finishing, is just finish strong, man. Just
exactly.
What I need to see is at least, a win against another quad 1 team. I need to see a win there. But I also need to see this team just continue to play hard. Just don't give up.
And I will give them credit. They have not given up. And to me, it's got to be frustrating as hell to be this close to winning every single one of these games and keep failing over and over and over again. But they keep fighting. They keep clawing. And I give that credit to Wes. I do, of not letting them give up. But it's still there. And so I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see what happens. And I agree with you. Once we got our ass kicked by Xavier again, which. Dude, game on. Xavier, I've said this. They could, when they play UC, they can go across half court.
We play basketball against Xavier.
Xavier can go across half court, turn around, shoot the ball out of their ass, and it would go in. Xavier makes everything. Yeah.
People need to know we heavily recruited Chris Olivari, and he made us pay for it when he did not come here.
Yep,
what 34 points that night? And was he like 7 of 11 from 3-point range? Some ridiculous.
And then we turned around and lost to Dayton, and I'm like, this is not going to be good, man.
Yeah.
But and then Big 12 play started, like the light switch went on. They started playing like the talent, and that's the thing is they have talent, and it's not they don't have talent. They have talent because if they didn't have talent, they wouldn't be competing with these guys, and they're competing with them. They competed with Kansas in Kansas.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear they don't have talent. Wes is a good recruiter. It's just they're not finishing games. And if you just quit turning the damn ball over 17 to 25 times a game, you'd win these games. You
got to make your free throws, though, Jeff. I mean,
dude, we've never been. When was the last time UC was a good free throw shooting team?
We've
been talking about this for 30 years.
even in the Cronin era, like at the end of games, we're talking, right? They would be able to make their free throws. Even the guys that would shoot 68% from the stripe would be able to go up there, make their free throws. The Jihad Muhammads of the world, If I remember correctly, pre-Cronin, it was Army and Kirkland that sunk 2 against Memphis
Army Kirkland could shoot. What? Army Kirkland could shoot. Yeah, I remember him. He was definitely a shooter.
So the Bearcats, they've struggled to shoot free throws, but when push came to shove at the end of games, when you got to make free throws, usually in the Cronin era, I felt like they were able to come through. And these 2 games, the Texas game and the Kansas game, I just look at and like, man, the Newman on the 1-and-1 and the Texas game, dude, and to miss that, and then the defense.
If you don't how many times turned the ball over that game? 17, I think.
17, 18. Yeah.
Somebody quit turning the ball over. It won't come down to the free throws.
It won't come down to it. Yeah.
And there's times like I saw. I think it was Jizzle or Day. No, Skillings did this last night, where he brought the ball up and it looked like he just threw it to the other guy. Now he busted his ass and made a great defensive play and blocked him from behind.
Yeah.
But he was just dribbling the ball up the court, and it's just like, here you go. It's like, where are you dribbling the ball to?
Skillings is another animal, man, where it's like he could play really, really phenomenal one night, and then the next night he could have 0 points and 5 turnovers.
Dude, he's going to be good, and the reason he's only been playing basketball since the 9th grade.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't really start playing. Like on a team, he played. He might have played pickup games, but he never made a team or anything until. Yeah, I don't know how much he played, but he didn't really start playing organized basketball until the freshman year of high school. So that's where, and the thing is, like, that's what gives me hope. Him and Jizzle, they're like what Skillings is he a sophomore, junior, something like that. I think he's a sophomore.
I think he's
Anyway,
sophomore.
they're young players. Jizzle's a freshman. Their level is here. Their level can be here. Their level could be top players in college basketball. That's the and that's what gives you hope that there is a chance that this can work out. And the thing is, like, as long as guys don't transfer, because you never know with the transfer portal and all that stuff, we get a lot of these guys back next year, and we add crud, who were you just talking about that we said should redshirt?
Oh, Ravion.
Yeah, Ravion. We add Ravion to that. That alone, dude, that puts you. I mean,
you got McKinley
skill-wise,
coming next year too, as well. I'm excited about him.
Skill-wise, we could be top 25 at the beginning of preseason. We could.
The biggest thing we need, Jeff, is a capable center. We need a capable center who can rebound, who can guard in the paint, somebody that can play good defense. Aziz is too thin to be able to, body some of these guys.
That's you got the monster factory, dude. I'm like, he's back, so I can see him putting some more weight on next year. That's where I think they're gonna. I agree with you. If they do that, if he can add like 30 pounds on him next year, dude, that's it right there. I mean, if he can do it, he's still athletic. We'll see. My Brad here says I hope Jizzle stays and doesn't hit the portal. I don't know if I'm not worried about that because I
think he knows he's the guy. He's the guy.
Well, the thing is though, the portal isn't always about playing time too. It's all about money. And that's the thing where teams are going to outpay us. I mean, they just are. I mean,
I think the one thing we have working for us though is the fact that we do have Wes, and he is a player's coach,
and people like him. They like
the kids. They love to play for him. They live with them. They die with them, man. And that's something we have working in our favor at the very least.
Right. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, because. I love and hate the portal all at the same time. It's good and bad because they're offering you more money or whatever. The ultimate goal is for these guys is to get paid to play basketball somewhere, either NBA, overseas, G League, something. That's the ultimate goal, and you can get your money now, and you go to a worse situation than you're in. Jizzle's in a pretty good situation. I mean, I think next year he's definitely. Hopefully it changes this year that he's in at the end of the game, more than he is now. Definitely next year he's going to be in during the end of the game, and I think a lot of stuff's going to be put on him next year. So
yeah, I can't wait for next year because it's going to be Jizzle and Ravion together.
I can't wait till I can't wait till next year because by this time next year the Bengals will have already won the Super Bowl. So I mean, and the Reds will win the World Series.
The Reds will win the World Series. The Bengals will win the Super Bowl.
Both of them.
FCC will win their tournament in soccer. I mean, we'll have the three-peat. So
they're
talking
playing their
dynasty. Chiefs, they got their little dynasty right in football. Yeah. Cincinnati, we've got the dynasty in all sports, right?
It'll be it's from that day forward. Cincinnati be known as Championati.
Championati.
Championati. Exactly. I'm gonna get the T-shirts and get them printed out. But FC is actually playing tonight, if I'm not mistaken. And it's not. I don't. It's some. They have. I've tried to get into soccer, but I get so. That's such a long season, dude. I didn't realize they started playing.
37 games.
Yeah, they start playing tonight, and they ended the championship game was in November, first week of December, something like that. So they got a tournament that they're in tonight, and then their first game of an MLS, I think, is Saturday. Wow. So I mean, and the thing is, and I hate this, and I said this, I had Richard Skinner on my show last year. We were talking a little FC, and I said, wouldn't it be such a Cincinnati thing to get? I said get all the way to the championship game and lose. They lost before they got to the championship game. I'm like, God, now they're officially a Cincinnati team. You get all the way up there, and you crush our hopes and dreams. But I think FC is definitely got a shot of doing this again and doing it back-to-back. They were the best team in soccer last year. I mean, but it wasn't even close. They won every freaking award you could win in the MLS except the championship. Except that. And freaking Columbus beat us.
building the team up. I mean, they're top 5 in spend every year. They're getting guys that are prominent players within the MLS and also have success outside the MLS, bringing them in, and they're creating this collective unit that are super successful, and uplifting guys like Acosta. Brandon Vasquez got noticed by the U.S. men's national team because he was so successful with FCC. I mean, they've just done a really phenomenal job with the team, and I only expect it to get better. I mean, I expect us to be in it this year. I expect us to be one of those teams that's competing, and now we got Miazga back, and we've got Miles Robinson together on the defense. So
Miazga, losing him was that hurt us last year.
Yes.
Losing him hurt us.
And no cap on Nick Hagelin. He's a hometown product from Xavier University.
Right.
But I much rather have a guy that has U.S. men's national experience,
had
some success in the MLS, and was not picked up. Like Hagelin came with us on the USFL team, right? I need somebody of an MLS caliber to step into that role if we need somebody to come off the bench.
He won the best. I don't remember the name of the award, but the best defensive player of the year. So I mean, and he wasn't in the last game that we freaking needed because he decided to chase the refs into the locker room or something like that.
Whatever that was.
Yeah, I don't even know what it was. It was crazy. Yeah. But I'm gonna try to watch that. Do you know there's a documentary about FC and how they got started and stuff? It's like a 4-part thing or something like that. Yeah, I've been trying to find it. Yeah, it's through everything through MLS is all through Apple TV. You got to try to either subscribe to Apple TV or figure out a way around it to find it. I'm trying to find it. I like to watch that. I've been to one FC game. I want to go this summer, and I want to go in one of the pubs and be there for the march because the march looks cool as hell. I want to
the march. Just really quick on this. So one of my friends from college was one of the guys that started up the mega. Like he is the main guy that was holding the megaphone. Yeah. One of my great friends from college, he's the guy who started the megaphone and had the idea of the march being this thing, right? One of his good friends is a drummer there. They do that whole cheer stuff. I mean, the atmosphere at an FCC game is absolutely incredible. But what they've done, certainly from the time that they were as a USFL team, playing Louisville, and I went to their very first game. I got a jersey, $36, just to let you know. Very first jersey, very first game.
Money well spent.
Against Louisville FC, and I think we ended up losing 2-1. But man, from there was probably only about, I would say, a couple thousand people in the stands, right? Mm-hmm. In that very first game to what they are now. It's just incredible. It's incredible, the transformation.
I was never sold that soccer was going to work here. I'm like, like you were into USFL or whatever it was called. I said, then you get into to MLS, the ticket prices are going to go up, especially that nice new stadium. But dude, they sold that thing out, and
they sold it out. Yeah. They're one of the most consistent sellouts in the MLS. And Jeff, this speaks to the market plan of the NHL, potentially the NBA. I mean, a lot of people say, hey, would you go and watch an FCC game when the Reds are playing? And maybe the Bengals are already playing too. Or maybe, they're playing this weekend and they're playing at home. Like, would you catch a FCC? They're sold out. Right. There's a market for that, Jeff.
I've had this argument. I had this, discussion with my brother, who's a big hockey guy. I mean, my son grew up playing hockey, so I like hockey too. He's a big Cyclones guy. And nothing against the Cyclones or anything, but he's like, I really don't see us support that. I said, how? He goes, because, the Columbus Blue Jackets are so close. I said, all right, we got FC Cincinnati and we got Columbus. I said, we got the Indianapolis Colts and we got the Bengals. So don't sit there and tell me, well, it won't happen because we have this. It could happen. And the thing that drives me nuts, people are like, you really think that's going to happen? The NHL commissioner said Cincinnati they were in talks. That's all he said. And there's been talks about
preliminary.
But he said it. He didn't. If it wasn't serious, he wouldn't have said it. If there wasn't any substance to it, he wouldn't have said it. Now he said Atlanta, he said Nashville, he said Portland, he said a couple other ones too. But there is stuff there, and there's talks about trying to get a new indoor arena down by TQS Stadium or tearing down the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Yes, I still call it the Coliseum, but tearing that down, which is where I want it to be there. I want them to tear the Coliseum down and build it right there. I think that would be cool. But either way, anywhere they build it, it's going to be great. And the thing is, if you get that, it's not only good for trying to get an NHL team or potentially an NBA team. It's good for the city because we can get. They're already they're redoing the convention center because we need to get more conventions. We need to get more stuff here. You know, the convention center is tied in. You tie the convention center in with a brand new state-of-the-art indoor arena. That right there is going to get more stuff into our city.
Yeah.
So that's more money for the city, more money for taxpayers, all that stuff. It's all good.
Hamilton County has been looking for a way to bring more recording artists to Cincinnati and create a platform for concerts, right? They did it with Taylor Swift and Paul Brown Stadium. They kind of wanted to add a dome to Paul Brown Stadium so they can make this like a year-round thing where there was no weather permitted. Like they would be able to just, you know, reach out to this one and this one and this one. And then because that one night with Taylor Swift, I don't know if you know this, millions upon millions.
I know. Like, my daughter-in-law is a big Swiftie. Yes, I know that. Her and my son went out. They sat outside the stadium to go see it. And yeah, Crip here said, yeah, we get March Madness here. I mean, we can get that. There's so many things we could do if you get that. I mean, hell, we could get the NFL draft here. If you get that indoor arena, that would be someplace to do the NFL, especially between that and how they fix up the convention center. That's how you get the NFL draft here. That's how you have the venues to have the stuff. That's so it's
that would be so sick. That would just be so sick.
That.
I mean, Cincinnati right now, I think we have the best team in mind in terms of trying to create a plan in order to create revenue for Hamilton County, and I think they're doing a phenomenal job so far, and I think it's only going to get better as the years go along. Like they're really, really thinking in terms of, hey, how can we bring in revenue for the city, but also be able to support our sports teams? Right. And like I said before, man, if we got a hockey team, I think it would be similar to the MLS where FCC, we have a rivalry with Columbus. I think if we get a hockey team within Cincinnati, we'd have an immediate rivalry with Columbus initially. And then I think like this is a team that people would get behind. I mean, hockey is a fun sport to watch in person. It might be one of the most fun sports to watch.
It's better in person. It's better in person than it is on TV. I tell people that all the time. It is awesome in person. And the thing that I like too is they got a blueprint of how to do this as far as building the new arena without using taxpayers' dollars, which would piss everybody off about Paul Brown Stadium.
Music. That's music to somebody who's living in Hamilton County his entire life. Music right there.
Me too. We're still paying for the stadium, so that's where the blueprint is there of how they built TQL and the new indoor arena is going to be about the same size as what TQL Stadium is, but more seats in there because you're going to have a smaller field or court or ice, so it's going to be closer to that. So this is all doable, and it's all things that I'm here for. I mean, I've been wanting to get an NHL team and an NBA team here forever. I mean, NBA, I don't know if that's happening or not, but if you get a new arena, you never know. But NHL is a possibility that could happen. There's a chance, and I don't know. And this is how far I've gone. I've gone to thinking of different names and like, well, maybe they could be the Cincinnati Riverboats, and then incorporate, which is kind of a dumb name, but I don't know, it's a Cincinnati thing, Cincinnati Riverboats, and I like to incorporate all the colors of the team. So you have red, black, white, and orange, and I'm kind of like, I wonder how that would look. And I actually looked it up, and actually it doesn't look bad. I mean, it's a pretty cool combination if you look that up for just.
What about the Cincinnati Stacks or the Cincinnati Tall Stacks, huh?
The Tall Stacks. There you go.
The Cincinnati Stacks.
A lot of people bring back, we got to call them the Stingers. Like, all right, I love the Stingers was the old WHL, which a lot of that, like every team from that except for Cincinnati, Houston, and somebody else all went to the NHL. Everybody except us and two other teams. I like the name. I hate the colors. It's yellow, black and yellow. I do not want to root for a team that is black and yellow. I don't. I'm like, I love FC, But I wish they would have picked a different color in blue. Blue is Kentucky. I'm like, I wish it was black and orange or white and orange or. That's just me, dude. That's like I'm weird about that stuff. I'm like,
I got you. Hey, I've always lived my life red, black, and orange, man. Always.
Yeah.
That's my entire color wardrobe right there.
Yeah, this ain't gonna happen, Chad. Cincinnati Mighty Ducks. Yeah, they already the Anaheim Ducks own that. So
do you remember the indoor soccer team, the professional indoor soccer team called the Cincinnati Silverbacks? This was back in the 90s, baby.
Yep. I remember. I never went and saw a game, but I remember them.
I went to a game. I went to a game with my father, and I remember thinking, man, this is the coolest thing. That was a fun game too. I think they ended up winning 5-4.
Oh, dude, we had a when indoor arena football was big. We had, I think, no. Oh, this is before the Bandits. The Bandits were like the second tier or whatever. But we had the Cincinnati Rockers that the Gregory family owned, and Ira Hiller was the wide receiver, and
snap.
I cannot remember the quarterback's name, but he was quarterback from Ohio State. They got in trouble with gambling. He was the quarterback. I can't remember. Somebody in the chat will remember. But that was down at the Coliseum, and that was fun. Yeah, I still call it the Coliseum. It's Heritage Bank or whatever the hell they call it now. It was the Coliseum for 30 years of my life. So they started changing the name. So again, I'm old. But anyway. So yeah, I mean it's exciting. And at the earliest this would happen is 2028. Because you gotta find out first they gotta get the arena. They got to build the arena, and then I think you could talk about getting an NHL team. That's got to happen first. Fair. Where are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? All that stuff.
It happened fairly quickly, though, for FCC. If we get real steam behind this,
well, but they had a place. We don't have a place for an NHL team to play. The Coliseum. Yeah, it's too small to be honest.
No, it's well. Plus the chairs. I mean, the renovation needs to happen. I saw Paul McCartney live at Heritage Bank, and it might have been 4 or 5 years ago, but my chair broke in the middle of the concert, so I had to stand up. That's how bad Heritage Bank is, man.
I mean, it was built in 1970.
Those chairs,
older. Yeah, it's older than I am. So,
yeah. Guys, no,
the only place I can think of is if they started before we got an arena is go over to Northern Kentucky and put ice in there, in that place, which that still isn't that big of an arena. But I mean, TQL is bigger than Nippert, so it could happen. We'll see it happens. We'll see. Chair's got a point here. He said the Coyotes are playing in a smaller arena than Heritage Bank this year. That's true. That's why I still don't know why the Coyotes are still in Arizona. I don't. Nobody supports them, and we'll see. He said Heritage could be a 2-year. Yeah, it could. I mean, it could be. But for me, I want the arena there.
I think they would want us to renovate it first, right? And I also think like similar to FC, I think they would want an arena solely just for their team, not to be used by the outside, right? And you'd have to have a millionaire come in and fund it. Birding came out of nowhere with FCC, right? Like, we gotta get the lenders involved. We gotta get, we gotta get some more the people with money in Cincinnati involved.
We need millions and millionaires to come out and help us out. That's what we need. Because if I was a millionaire, I'd be all for it. I would do it in a heartbeat. But
maybe Joe Burrow. Maybe Joe Burrow. I mean, the volleyball, and now
he owns volleyball. Yeah. Get it. Yeah, Joe, come on, you can do it. Jackpot watches this show all the time. I mean, he's a loyal subscriber.
All the time. That's your guy.
Right. Exactly.
That's your guy.
Exactly.
Let him know next time you see him. Let him know.
I will.
Game on, and him have the exact same birthday. And
I will let him know. I will next time the security lets me pass him to talk to him, I'll let him know.
Exactly.
All right. So, anyway, we've been on for 44 minutes. Shout out, like I said, to my sponsors, T Properties, Midwest Best Barbecue. Go check out their food. The newest one, Meyer Window and Door. Like I said, I have them in my house right now. All my house got brand new windows. 2 years ago, they actually took my sliding glass door and actually moved it over, took a window out, made the sliding glass door a window. They did all that for me. They are a good crew. Make sure if you're looking for windows or anything, because if you want your house to be warm in the wintertime, get new windows. If you want it to be cool in the summertime, get new windows. And check out Meyer Windows and Doors. All right, so Which perfect timing. The graphic just showed up. There you go. All right, let's talk some Bengals here. And this is something that me and Bengals and Brews were talking about. And this is not Joe Mixon hate. This is not anything hate. This is just putting numbers together and trying to make things work that they could possibly do. I do not think the Bengals will do this. But if, and I didn't bring this up, I think Paul Daner had this first. If the Bengals were to cut Mixon and cut B.J. Hill, there's your money for Tee Higgins for his tag year. That also frees you up money to go out and sign Adebuke, if I'm saying his name right, from Baltimore, and you still have money to go out and sign a right tackle, sign some more interior guys like Fred, what's his face from Indianapolis, or Stanley, or guys like that. There's still money there to do it, and we already got a big cap space, so it's not, it's more to get a bouquet and T, because I don't know if we can do both with the money we have now. Yeah, what's your thoughts there?
All right, so last week we kind of talked about where the cap space is going to land. It's expected that the cap space will land at 250 from reports I heard yesterday. So that will leave us with 68.8 million prior to tagging T. T's going to be tagged for around 21, I think maybe 21 and a half. So that leaves you
it's around 2021. Yep.
That leaves you around 47 and a half to play with. Taking that 47 and a half, again, I'm going to bring it up to you again because I did last time. That's still 6.5 more than what we signed, or than what we had in 21 when we had our rebuild, right? When we signed Trey Hendrickson for 16 mil per, we signed Trey Waynes for 16 mil per, we signed Larry Ogunjobi for 1 year, 7.5, we signed Mike Hilton 3 years, 28. 4 years, 28. We signed Awuzie 3 years, 22. Like, we were able to sign all these guys, and then Eli Apple 1 year, 4. Like, we were able, and then Riley Reeve 1 year, 5.5. So the Bengals,
all that was in 1 year.
The Bengals have all the money in the world to sign some tier 3 to tier 4 guys. So don't think that you have to cut Mixon or have to cut B.J. Hill in order to get it done. It's just, and here's where I would say maybe the Bengals would cut a B.J. Hill, or maybe they would take a look at a Mixon, is if the Bengals had money capped for, another position because of what's coming with Mixon, then they might do it, right? I don't.
The other thing too is if you do that, you also have money to sign Jonah, I think. If you do what I'm talking about, you have some money, and you still have money to get the second tier guys for your defensive line and interior or offensive line. I think I like it. You're the math guy, not me. I'm just throwing stuff out there and seeing if I'm right. I mean, is that does the money work out there?
So I think on the back end is when you start talking about B.J. Hill. You don't talk about him on the front end. Free agency starts March 11th. We got so many months to go.
Tampering period is what, next Wednesday? Tampering period starts next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
Mixon's contract with the bonus is due March 18th. So we have a full week to decide whether we want to keep Mixon on to the roster or not. And that's going to be a crazy week for everybody. But the B.J. Hill one, I think it comes with, hey, who do we sign in between that time, right, before we get to the season? And then I think we might go to BJ and we say, hey, we're not going to not pay you this money, but we're going to restructure it in a way that you get the money, and then we're going to kind of account for it on the back end, right?
Stretch it out. Just stretch it out a little bit.
Because I don't think when I tweeted this out the other day, I don't think the Bengals want to lose the only productive player they have on the interior currently.
I don't either. And like I said, I am not saying they should do this at all. I love BJ Hill. I would be scared to death because the only way I want them, if they do cut him, they better have signed somebody already. Because if we lose BJ, we got nobody. You got Zach Carter. That's it. And
the other question is, what do they do with Hubbard, right? I mean, they can create money in so many different ways just by giving these guys brand new deals and giving them an extension for 1 or 2 years and making it a little bit less to help out with their cap space if they want to go use that elswhere. So, I mean,
they can also do that with. They can do that with upfront money, signing bonuses too, when they restructure.
Signing bonuses.
Yeah,
that's right.
Cash is king, baby. Go give them that money.
Cash is king. They're probably going to give cash, though. I would expect them to give cash to the guys who are coming on the roster this year, right? Versus the guys who are currently on the roster. So I would expect that upfront cash to come in the signings of a Matabike and the signings of potentially some of these interior guys like a Maurice Hurst or maybe it's a Sheldon Rankins, whoever can they like in that rotation. Mm-hmm. But again, more than enough money right now to play with. And I think the BJ Hill one is a wait and see. And I think the Mixon one is one that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen as soon as free agency opens because they've had a relationship with this kid for a long time. They don't want to piss him off. He's meant a lot to Cincinnati. They want to memorize him in the right way. So you can expect as soon as free agency opens, he will either be cut immediately or if he's not cut immediately, if he's not cut within the first couple days, expect Mixon to be on the roster and them to pay him by
honestly, that's what I expect. What I'm talking about is I do not expect the Bengals to do. I could see them restructuring BJ Hill. I could see that. Yeah. Because they did that with Trey Henderson last year. Now, how many more years does BJ have? He's got 2 more years left on his contract?
He signed a 3-year deal, I think.
So is he
not last year, but the year before? I think he only got one. I think he's only got 1 year. I think this is the out. He's got 1 year left.
So that would make sense to restructure it and extend it like they did with Trey Henderson because that was one that honestly I was surprised because of them drafting Myles Murphy. I did not think Trey Henderson was going to. I thought it was what it would have been this year, right? He'd been gone or next year. I can't. I did not think they were going to.
And meanwhile, Henderson goes for what 60.5 sacks. Right. And he's one of the best in the league, and now you got him at 20 mil.
Boom, baby. That's how you do it. Now, Paul's got I don't know if you can do that. I guess you can do this. He said, if you want to save cap space, why not offer T top 10 cash and save the tag?
So
you'd have to, that would be a contract extension, though. You'd have to do that.
It's the guarantees, Paul. It's the guarantees. The Bengals are having a hard time because I think when I looked back at some of the contracts that David Mulligetta set up for players, majority of those contracts were anywhere from 55 to 75% guaranteed. And so the Bengals don't like to give out that guaranteed money, so to speak, when they feel like, they could still get great production out of them and then be able to replace them in the future, right?
The thing is, too, but most of the time, Bengals contracts are guaranteed. They don't usually, they let the players play out the contract most of the time. I mean, what they did the
outside the element. Outside the element, it's a brand new thing.
What they did the Mixon is different. They've never done that where they got a guy to take less. I think that's the first time that I can remember them restructuring somebody and they restructured it in less money that he got. Which, I mean, Mixon didn't have much of a choice, to be honest. If they cut him, I still don't think he would have got what the Bengals gave him. I mean, again, not Mixon hate.
I just want you all to understand this because I don't think that people understand with Mixon. He's being paid $5.75 million this year, and the $3 million bonus is in that number. Okay, so in order to cut him, they would have to dead cap $2.75 million. So it doesn't make sense to go out and get another running back when you've already cut a guy for $2.75. It makes sense to draft one as his replacement, right?
Right.
On top of that, like people need to also understand. A cap hit of 8.85, the savings off of that is 6.1 million. So again, it doesn't make sense to go out and get a Deontay Foreman, a Tony Pollard, a Zach Moss, because these guys are going to want 4 or 5 mil per. That cap hit is going to be like you're literally saving $1 million and you don't even know if you're getting better at running back. It's literally just a luck strategy. Yeah. So the Bengals are not going to do that. They have never done that.
No, I don't see them doing. Like I said, I don't see them doing anything that I've talked about them doing. It's just the point to me is like, if you could do that, like I would like to know if you were to cut BJ Hill and you were to cut Mixon, and you get 3 guys that you can't get right now, which you can get them, but you couldn't get any depth. And I mean Jonah, and I mean T, and I mean Ezebuke, if I'm saying his name right. If you get those 3 under the cap and add, some lower tier guys to that offensive line depth and defensive line depth. That to me, or restructure BJ, that'd be fine too. To me, that is really intriguing, to be honest. It was, like I said, I don't know if the numbers fit under that or not. Like I said, you would know better than I would about that.
I think the Bengals have enough money to go get. I think they have enough money to go get Jermaine Ullmanure and Trent Brown. Like, I think that both those guys could be signed to the Bengals. And then people are like, well, there goes the need for right tackle. And then maybe the Bengals target guard in the draft. And now we're going to have a great conversation because we're going to be talking about, hey, there's great depth right there. If they go grab like a Zach Zinner from Michigan.
JPJ.
And
JPJ. Jackson Powers Johnson. That dude, like, if he's there and they have gotten Illuminor or they've gotten Brown, I'm getting that dude. And I'm putting him at guard or I'm putting him at center, moving Ted to guard. One of the two. I'm probably putting him at guard and let Ted finish his career. And I love Ted Karras. Not hate. I love Ted Karras. It's been on my show. But that's the thing is you got to have position, and it'll be position versatility because according to
flexibility.
Dale, yeah, he's played. According to Dale, Jackson Powers Johnson's played guard. He's played center. He's played, I think, left tackle or right tackle. He's played a lot of positions.
He's like your Clint Bowling, maybe your Dennis Rowland type player, right? Where you could pretty much plug him in anywhere. The Ravens have one in Patrick McCarry. They can pretty much put him anywhere, right? And if somebody's out in any of those positions, McCarry just steps in and he plays like the guy never left.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good idea.
And if you get Jackson Powers Johnson, that's your center for the next 10 years. I mean, that dude is and it gives us more athleticism because that's the other thing we need to add to this offensive line is more athletes. We're not, I mean, they're athletes, but they're not as athletic as other offensive lines are. I'll put it that way.
Sure. Yes.
What is Chop saying? Chop said you should just root for a good team like LSU. I don't. You just start. Like, literally, you just started rooting for LSU the last 2 years. I rooted for the Bearcats my entire life, so. All right, Brad. The Brad's talking to Paul. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're going to start getting things ramped up here the next week or so, because next weekend is the Combine, which I'm going to go to. I love going to the Combine. I want to go, like, one day. I'm trying to go Saturday when the quarterbacks are there. And, like, next week starts the free agent tampering, which they're already talking. I'm like, I don't care what anybody says. They're already talking to these guys. And they're already talking contracts.
They're texting.
They're
already talking. They're always texting. Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care what people say. That's why, the stroke of midnight or whatever, when free agency hits, there are already contracts that are already signed or they agreed to. I mean,
Alex Kaplan was
do that just 3 days.
What? It was like 2 minutes into free agency last year.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't
or 2 years ago.
They didn't start negotiating this contract, and get it all hammered out in 3 days. Like they don't go that fast. I mean, if that's true, then we would have signed Tee Higgins a long time ago. And we would have signed Jesse Bates a long time ago. We could hammer these contracts out a little better. But we're getting to the exciting point of the off season because this week has kind of been slow. There hasn't been a whole lot to talk about here. But we also have the Reds, and their first spring training game is Saturday. Dude, this is me, and I always say orange-colored sunglasses. This is me with red-colored sunglasses. We got the most talent on this team in baseball.
Yes.
In baseball.
Yes.
The guys that we have the most talent. If they all play like we think they can, and that includes the starting pitchers, we could run away with this thing. We could. In my opinion, we have more talent than we know what to do with. We have more position players than we got spots, and they all can play. So that's the exciting thing about this team. And the bullpen, I think, is going to be a lot better because even the word is Buck Farmer is coming in quote-unquote the best shape of his life and is really throwing the ball really well. Graham Ashcraft, I think, is going to have a breakout year. Hunter Green is working on, finally, a changeup, a cutter. If Hunter Green can add a cutter, just a cutter, and it looks the same as fastball, it's going to help him out because he's got to get people off his fastball. He can throw 103 miles an hour. Go ahead.
The splitter. The splitter. Mm-hmm. So he's going to start utilizing a splitter Same with Lucas Sims, also utilizing a splitter to help with his closing pitch. Eliminate the walks, start striking guys out. Green was already doing that. But for the Reds, man, it's all about health.
Yeah,
Ashcraft,
all about health.
Lodolo, Green, all hurt last year. The Reds have signed guys that can step in if they end up getting hurt this year. And then also Abbott, in all the innings that he had to pitch last year, kind of came crashing down towards the end of the season. But the Reds stay healthy, man. They could be the Diamondbacks this year.
Oh, yeah. They could be better than the Diamondbacks, I think. I think we got more talent than in position-wise. Now, we talk about health. Matt McClain is already hurt. He's basically shut down for a week because he hurt his oblique. It's not in the same spot, which is good, I guess, but it's also a concerning thing. They got to figure out what he's doing to hurt that. For what I've read and heard is he took a whole lot of swings with the bat. And you hurt your oblique in baseball, you use that all the time. I mean, you're bending down to pick up, especially as an infielder, you're bending down to pick up ground balls. Second baseman, you're twisting to make the turn. You're swinging a bat. I mean, that's a injury that he's got to figure out what he's doing to aggravate that and not do it. Because that is concerning. Because for me, Game On, when Matt McClain got hurt last year, that's when we fell out of the race. I mean, we only fell out by 2 games. But I think Matt McClain is a big piece to that club as far as what he does on the field and off the field. His leadership, stuff like that. I think he's honestly a future captain of this team, to be honest. And that showed last year, I think, when he wasn't in the lineup.
Yeah. I told you. I mean, I gotta blame this on myself.
I'm on the show still, dude. That's my son. My son's calling me. I'm on the show still.
I'm the one that said that McClain was going to be the MVP this year, so I'm gonna take full responsibility, people. I'm gonna lower my expectations a little bit more. He's gonna come back healthy, and maybe he'll outshine what my initial expectations were.
Exactly. Yeah. Porkchop. I call him Matty Backs. Porkchop calls him Die-Hard Dinger.
Die-Hard Digger. I love that from him.
Matt McClain. Oh. That's a good one. And dude, if the big thing, the Dread Prince, Ellie De La Cruz, because he wears the dreads and people dread to play him. If he can become the best player in baseball, which he has every potential to do that, and if he can do that, which means he needs to get consistent in his swing. He said he wants to steal 80 bases, and I could totally see him doing that. Easy. Yeah, I mean that's his favorite thing to do. So, dude, it's really, 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 really exciting about what the Reds could do this year. I'm excited about it.
They just have like, and the other thing too, one of the things that I felt like let us down last year was kind of the relief pitching as well. We you good?
Go ahead. I don't know why
we had the starting pitching down, and the relief pitching was kind of letting us down a little bit, right? And then once the starting pitching went down, the relief pitching was good, but starting pitching wasn't good. Now I think we got the best of both worlds. We've signed guys that could step in for our starters. We've also signed relievers that are darn good, have been in the league for a long time, and have had success at multiple levels. So, I mean, this year, I expect this team to be very, very competitive. And, I mean, now that I think about it a little bit more, maybe we're the Texas Rangers instead of the Arizona Diamondbacks right there. How about that?
I'll take that. They won the World Series. I mean, and like I said, the Reds win the World Series this year. Bengals win the Super Bowl. FC wins the Cup. Dude, it's Cincinnati. That's the new name for Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. And we're living large, baby.
Exactly. All right, Game On. You've been on for, I kept going. I'm like, dude, it's an hour and 3 minutes. That's probably why he's calling me, thinking I'm off the show. So I'll end it here. I appreciate you coming on. Dude, like I said, you come on here, we can talk for like 2 hours of Cincinnati sports. So I appreciate it. Plug some stuff. Make sure you go check out him and Ace and Zimmon on the Spaces. They kill it every single day. But plug some stuff before I let you go there, Game On.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, I appreciate you because, this is my Zen time away from, the kids and the wife and all that. So I appreciate this. But, Spaces every single day. People, there's a purple bar at the top of your Twitter screen. And there's probably a Bengals space open. Click on it. Click into it. start listening to that. You can even listen anonymously if you don't want yourself to
I
be
do that
seen.
most of the time. I'll just sit there and listen.
And look, they are passionate conversations. These guys know football. These guys talk X's and O's, and they're going beyond what you hear on television, beyond what you hear in the media. We're starting to break down coverages. We're going over schemes. We're going over play fits. We're talking about how the Bengals can take this to the next level. I mean, this is stuff you definitely got to hear if you're a
Absolutely.
Bengals fan.
Absolutely. And the thing is, real quick on the Bengals again, dude, I'm not scared of this offseason. I trust in Duke. I trust in the Bengals. They're going to do what we need to do to get that dub, to get that ring, to get that Super Bowl. I'm like, people are like, oh, we got a lot of holes. Like, but they're all fillable, and we got the money to do it. So I just want to be able to draft an offensive lineman and need to plug and play guy. That's my only concern. I want that guy to actually work because it has to happen. Anyway, game on. I appreciate you, brother. We're definitely going to have to do this again. This has been so much fun.
Let's do it again, man. Keep messaging me. Let's get back in the car. Let's do it again.
I like it. I'm in my studio. You're in your studio in the car. I like it.
That's right. That's right. In the car with game on.
All right. Hey, I like that. I like that. That's what we call it. In the car with game on. There you go. That's a segment. All right, dude. Take it easy, brother.
Yep.
Go check out Game On. Like I said, dude, he is awesome in spaces. He does great stuff. Go follow him on Twitter. I'll go check him out on Chatterbox Sports. He does talk about the Bengals there after every game. He might be doing something. I should ask him about that. He's going to do something in the summertime there with Chatterbox Sports. But go check him out there. I appreciate everybody watching. Make sure you check out tomorrow's show, which I will have my boy, Trags, Mike Petraglia, unless he cancels on me. I think he's still out in Arizona. So we can get some insight from him of what he's seen there, who he's interviewed, stuff like that. So it will be Reds talk, and Trags is on there, so we can talk Bengals too as well. So it won't just be Reds. And I'm trying to cover more stuff here. Football season. Well, football season is never over. We can always talk draft. We can always talk off season, but there's so much more stuff to talk about in this city. And I'm really going to try to talk FC Cincinnati as well too, because it is a Cincinnati team. They are a good team. I've kind of drug my feet on trying to get to know the players, get to know the rules. I started changing that last year and trying to figure out what's going on, because last thing I want to do is come on here and not know what I'm talking about. So, and nobody wants to listen to a guy who just makes stuff up and has no idea what he's talking about. Whether you agree with my opinion or not, I want to make sure I have an opinion about it. So that's what sports talk is. And like I said, don't ever take any of this stuff seriously. This is supposed to be fun. This is a fun show. Try to get your mind off of what's going on in your day-to-day. Hang out, chill out, crack open a beer. Not while you're driving. If you're listening to it in the car, appreciate it. Make sure you check it out. Share the show out. Check it out on all my broadcasting formats. I'm on ZTV online, which you go check ZTV online out there. They got a lot of cool stuff. We got writers on there now covering the Reds and Bengals. Also, they're covering Indianapolis sports too as well. They got guys writing about the Pacers, the Colts. So a lot of cool stuff on there. Make sure you check that out. I'm also on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or X, Rumble. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up. Share it out. I appreciate it. Shout out to my sponsors. I appreciate you guys. Midwest Best Barbecue, T Properties, Jackpot Joey, of course, Meyer Door and Window. Shout out to all of them. I appreciate the support. If you guys would like to support the channel, it would be I would greatly appreciate it. We could do a little commercial like I do for Midwest Best. If I get more sponsors, we'll make them, and the commercials will pop up during the week. Also, they pop up in the background. So some people say it's distracting, which I mean, it just gives you something different to look at. So, and also it helps my sponsors out. So make sure you guys go check them out. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Throw it up. That's your sports, baby. See ya!